Hey guys, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Ukogene, and in today's tutorial we'll be learning on how to draft a basic bodice and a skirt block. So this is like a gown block, or you can cut it into a blouse and a skirt. Now basically you will need certain measurements for what you are doing. You will need your bust measurement, you will need your hip measurement if it is a dress. If it's a basic bodice, you can just draft using this my tutorial. You can get a basic bodice or a basic skirt. Now for the blouse, you will need your shoulder, you will need shoulder to nipple, you will need your arm side depth measurement, you will need your shoulder to your half length front, your shoulder to your back length, that is your half waist at the back. You would also need your waist circumference, your bust circumference, your hip circumference, your waist to your hip measurement. You will need the length of your skirt or the length of your dress measurement. That's what you're basically going to need for this measurement, for this tutorial, sorry. So as you can see, I've drafted my pattern. I made it into two. So I have a pattern paper. I created the up line, which is my starting line, and I divided it into two. So the middle line is going to be my middle point, which is for one side, and the other one for the other side. So I'll be measuring shoulder divided by 2, which is 7.5. You can go ahead to make yours 7 if yours is 14, or 6.5 if yours is 13. The next is your shoulder to your nipple measurement, which is 11 inches, and the next is shoulder to the waist measurement, which I am using 18 inches. So you just go ahead to put your own measurement, your shoulder to your waist measurement, your shoulder to your nipple measurement, and then you will rule a straight line out. Whatever you are doing at this first part, you are to replicate it at the second part, which is going to be for your back side. So you are still going to do your shoulder to your nipple measurement, so you can connect the line straight. So you will see me when I'm connecting the line. I'm trying to connect the line because the up part, if you look at the up part, the starting line is not straight. So I found that the starting line is not straight, and I went ahead to correct both lines for the front now. Now your back measurement and your front measurement is normally not the same. People have a space of 1 inch difference, or 1.5 inch difference, or 2 inch difference. For me, the front part is 18 while my back is 16, which is a 2 inch difference from my own side. So I'll go ahead to mark 18 and mark 16. So you're marking 18, you're marking 16 for my own. If your own back width is 15 and your front width is 16, so you mark 15 and 16 for the back side. So you can connect the 16 straight line down, so you can be able to draft your skirt part, and you can connect the back, the front part also. Don't worry, if you are making a dress, you can also join the pattern back so that you can take out the space for the back and the front. I hope if you understand what I am saying. So I went ahead to connect both lines, and I will go ahead to draw the 16 inches line, which is actually my back width, my back shoulder to my waist line. So the next measurement is shoulder to your arm side. Mine is 9. If yours is 8, you should take 8. If yours is 7, take 7. But my own shoulder to my arm side is 9, meaning the round arm is 18. I hope you understand. So I'll go ahead to do it for both sides, and then I'll rule a straight line. So you go ahead to label your pattern. So that is the chest line, that's the bust point, and that is the waist. So you just label it like that. So where your arm side stop is where your chest line will be. Then the shoulder to your nipple point should be your bust point, and the waist should be the waist. So like I explained, that last line is the waistline, is a general waistline for the back side. So like I'm drafting the back and the downside and the upside to be a dress. So you go ahead to mark your shoulder to your shoulder measurement, which is 7.5. So if yours is 7, you're going to take the same thing. Now you will take the zip allowance, which is 1 inch at the back side. So for the other side, for the back, you're going to take 1 inch down for your zip allowance, and then you're going to roll a connecting line. So now what you're going to take is you need to take your shoulder measurement from that zip allowance. So you're not going to start from that line, you're going to start after the zip allowance, and you're going to take your shoulder to your shoulder measurement, which mine is 7.5, and then we are going to connect because we want to draft the armhole. Now to connect your armhole, you need to get the midpoint, but before you get the midpoint, I'll be coming down by half 1 inch for the slope for the shoulder point, and then my neck width I'm using is 3.5, my neck depth is 3.5, while for the back the neck width is 3.5, the depth is 1 inch. So to connect, you have to use your curve ruler, but me, I just did a dotted line to connect it, just like that. And you can see how I did my dotted line, just like this cycle form. So you get the midpoint. I already know my midpoint, which is 4.5. You will go in by half an inch. You will go in by half an inch, and then you will mark your bust measurements. So if your bust measurement is 9, then you will connect that midpoint and connect it down. So if you watch me, my front curve for my armhole is much inside than my back. So for my back, if you're watching this video, you will see the difference. The back, I didn't really go inside the way I went inside for the front. That is how I draft my own pattern. Meaning some people might do their own, both will be equal. But for me, for like, this is a ready to wear pattern. So for me, I do my front part to be inside more than my back side. So like I said, the back width is 3.5 and the depth is 1 inch. You also do the connected line just like what I'm doing, and you're going to also slope for the back, which is also going to be 1 inch. Now you can see the way I'm doing mine. You're seeing the way I'm doing mine. I didn't take any half an inch, so you see the difference. This part went inside more than that back side. That is how I do my own pattern. So we're taking our basic dart. Our basic dart is your nipple to your nipple distance divided by 2. So if your nipple to your nipple distance is 8 inches, you divide it by 2, which is 4, because it's on fold. So you will do here 4 inch, but for mine is 9, I'm doing 4.5. I'll mark it at my waist point and I'll mark it at my bust point, and then I will rule a line for connection. Then at the waist part, I will go in by half an inch. So I'm coming down from this bust point, I'll come down by 1 inch, and for the waist part I will come out by half an inch, go out by half an inch. So like I'm coming in by half an inch and going out by half an inch, which is going to be 1 inch. I'm going to connect that point to that 1 inch I took. Why I didn't put it directly on my bust point is because I don't want a sharp edge at that your bust point if you're going to be sewing it. So you don't want it to be too pointed at that your bust point. So you'll be doing the same thing for the back side. Now if you notice at the back side and at the front side, there's a distance at that side. Now if you're sewing your clothes, you want your distance, that is your side, to be meeting, and there is this gap, and the gap between the front and the back is 2 inches. That is the gap for the front and the back. So it depends on what your gap is. Some people's gap can be 1 inch, some people's gap can be 1.5 inch. So we want to take the dart at the side to make sure that the front and the back side is meeting. So I will just come down from that bust point by 2 inches, and then I will come in from that our dart that we took by 1.5 to 2 inches, and I'm connecting it because the front is 18 and the back is 16 inches. I hope you understand what I'm explaining. So that part, we're actually going to cut it out. So now I want to do the skirt part. Now for your skirt part, I've extended my pattern. There's a white paper at the downside. I don't know if you notice it. I've extended it to meet the exact length at which I want my dress to be, because I'm using this to make a particular outfit which I'll be posting later on the channel. So this is what I want to do. Like, I just extended it to meet the length. So for the waist part, you will take your waist allowance. So if your waist allowance is if your waist measurement divided by 4 is 8, you take 8. If it's 7, for me, mine is 8.5, and then I'll be adding an allowance of 2 inches. So you can make yours 1.5. I'll be adding an allowance of 1.5. So I think I changed it to 1.5, and then I'll be taking my waist to my hip measurement. So depending on your waist to your hip measurement, if yours is 10, if yours is 9, if yours is 11, because people have different body size and body shape. So mine is 10 and I'm taking 10 inches. So you connect the line. So whatever points that you're doing for your measurement for your front, you are replicating the same thing for the back measurement. So this is the hip line. I will do the same thing for the back side. Now for the back side, remember, we created a line to actually match the front of the skirt part, and there's a distance between the back side and the front side. I hope you understand why there's a gap. So I'll be replicating the same measurement I have here at the upside. So if my waist part of the upside is 8.5, I'm replicating it 8.5, and I'm adding an allowance. I'm doing the same thing for the downside. Mind you, there is a gap for the back side. I hope you understand. If you're watching from the beginning, there's a back at the side of, like, the upside of the back. So I'll be doing my hip measurement too for the back, and then I'll be connecting it like so. So I went ahead to connect that line. You know that straight line that we took, which is the 4.5 inches. I went ahead to connect it down to the hip side. So you're not going to connect it on the hip line directly. You're going to leave about 2 inches before the hip line, or 2.5 inches before the hip line. That's where you're going to leave. So between 2 to 2.5 inches, you just mark it and then you connect it. I will do that, and then I will also take the same line to meet half an inch, just that way we did at the waist part. So if I'm taking half an inch at the waist part, which is 1 inch total, I'll be connecting it down to that hip line. I'll do the same thing for the front too. I went ahead to also measure my waist to my length of the skirt part I want, which is the length of the dress, which is 29 inches. I did the same thing for the back side too. Now for the opening of your back side, like that zip allowance, there should be an opening, which is a pencil skirt. So at the downside, there's an opening. For mine, I went up by 10 inches. So I was using between 20 to 19 inches. So the length of the skirt is 29. So I'm marking 20 inches. You can mark, just play between 10 inches from your down part. Now because mine is at my knee axis, if yours is more than your knee axis, you have to be sure of the length at which you want your gap to be for your client. So you can actually tell your client to be sure to ask your client where she wants or her opening to be, because most times people like their own length to be wider than others. Some people want it very, very high. Some people don't want it, because if you're entering bike, there's a bike motorcycle that we use in Nigeria, you would want it to be higher so that you can be comfortable where entering the bike, unlike people that use a car that wouldn't want it to be higher. If you're serving in church, you will not want your own to be higher because of, when you climb the pulpit and the rest. I hope you understand where I'm driving at. So you go ahead to just slant it at that end, at the skirt end, just slant it a little, just like what we have here.
Understand.
So the skirt part, now if you see, I'm adding my allowance, which is 1.5 at the allowance. I went ahead to do the same for the skirt side. Now so you would take that 1 inch that you're supposed to replace it, so which mine is 8.5 for my skirt waist, 1 inch for the dart, making it 9.5 plus 1.5 inch as the allowance. Now you do the same thing here, and I went ahead to do the same thing for the skirt part. So that's what you are going to do. I took 1.5 inch. So you also take the same thing for your hip measurement too. So this is basically what we have for the drafting. Now if you want to do dart manipulation, that will be the next topic. We'll be using this same pattern to create our dart manipulation. So for you to eliminate your dart at your waist side and your hip side, we'll be creating the same pattern to eliminate it. So this is it, and we have come to the end of the tutorial. Please do not forget to subscribe, like and share. Until next time, bye.